Hey guys, it's Jan, also known as Zen Bluster, and Merry Christmas, first of all. Just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been following me and have been subscribing lately. I've been pretty happy about what's been going on, but 2017 has been a crazy year, and just wanted to show you guys basically the car that I took to the Japan Cup. This video is going to be mostly an overview of this car. The Some of you may already have seen it on Instagram and of course on the other videos. The MS suspension car that I built while I was over there. It took me about 5 nights, basically around 40 hours of build time, as far as I could tell. This is the MS suspension car that I raced there. It won one round, which was I'm fairly happy about, and hopefully I could do more next year. I'm hoping to go again, but we're gonna do an overview of this car. But before that, just wanted to show you guys some swag that I got from massdamper.jp. At some point, I'm gonna tell him to give me the splash screen so that I could add it. And this is just a clothing line that one of the guys over here in SoCal started. It's gonna be Tamiya mini four-wheel drive based. Let me just switch to the other shirt that I have. The back on this shirt is. Let me show you just real quick. It's a Japanese font, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it just says my stamper on that one. And I'm gonna use my Magic the Gathering powers to switch to the other shirt. And then this is one of the other designs. I'm not sure if it's gonna come through quickly. It says super hard on it, and then low bounce. And over here on the back, this is the best part of the shirt. It says like in big pink and purple font. It says super hard, and yeah, you could take that however you want. Basically, if people see you wearing that shirt, you're like, why does your shirt say super hard? I'm like, you could say, I don't know, why do you think it says super hard? But yeah, there's a couple of other shirts on. This is actually, as far as I know, it's only available on the Dixon Provision site so far. And it's there's quite a few different designs where there's one for Super 2 and it matches one of the shirts, one of the custom made hats that I have. This is a New Era hat, a 950. And this is my what do you call it, Enomoto like sticker that I got from Mr. Enomoto himself when I was over there. Yeah, there's other designs, so if you guys want to check out some more swag like this, you could check it out at Dixon Provisions. It's gonna be in the clothing section. All right, but without further ado, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Jan, and this is Liliana, the 2017 Japan Cup MS suspension car that I built while I was over there. Like I said from earlier, it took me about 40 hours. This is the MS suspension car. Just let me just show you how it bounces real quick. See, fairly low bounce as far as you could tell. There you go. The body bounces and then it stays down, and then also the back, you could see it actuates as well. So it's fairly solid, guys. I'm very happy with the way that it turned out in terms of its performance. And to get started in terms of the parts, what I'm going to go through with you guys, very first thing that I always talk about is the body. The Avante Mark II Clear body set, item number 15369. Very easy to build from there because it's very easy to mount the body damper over here on that position. If you look up the Magic the Gathering card Liliana of the Veil, you're gonna see that it has the same color. Basically, she's wearing a purple dress and she's got some fire, some psychic fire of some sort that she's holding, and it's hard to understand. That's why there's red in the build as well too. So that's one of the reasons why it's painted like this. Next part is the pink rollers, the HG lightweight 19mm aluminum ball race rollers. That's what I use. Two, of course, at the front. And the next set of rollers that we're going to go through is the red rollers at the back. These are the plastic ring 19mm aluminum rollers. 3 spokes, item number 95326. And I use plastic most of the time on the back because the back just follows the front, and they're just there to guide the car along the wall. But There are times when you want to use ringless rollers like this on the back, but that's a story for another day. Excuse me. Next part is the cap screw set, the 25 millimeter and the 30 millimeter cap screw set. I use 25 millimeters here and over here on the rollers, and then the 30 millimeters are over here. I'll show you guys real quick the mounts. Yep, cap screws, and over there, and then the cap screws are over here as well. And you're gonna need 2 packs because the pack only comes with a pair of the 25s and a pair of the 30s. Next item is the FRP wide rear plate. That is the bumper right here. As you can see, I have mine countersunk. Basically, there's 2 pieces of them. There you go, sandwiched in between, so that the whole bumper is built off of basically like a 3 millimeter thick bumper. That keeps it strong, and it's actually not as heavy as you all would think. I kind of wish we still had the old 2014 AR wide rear plates. I would be using those instead, but those are very expensive now and very hard to come by, so I use the FRP ones instead. So when I built it, I added a channel over here. This channel is actually angled. It's cut angled a little bit more severely than the bevel over here on the edges, and that beveled edge actually goes all the way through on the other side as well. Let me zoom the camera in. Yep, you could kind of see the bevel. It follows all the way from this edge to the other side, so that's trimmed that way when I brought my milling machine over there. And we're going to do the back bumper. This is the item number, let me see, 95104. You can see that it's the extended bumper. It's slightly longer, or it has more available holes. And yeah, that's what I used on the back to hold everything together, and everything it's mounted on that back bumper. And the next item on the list, this is gonna be the most parts that you're gonna need for the same thing, because you're gonna need about 5 packs of this thing. Let's count it out a little bit just real quick. You're gonna need 5 sets of item number 15495 carbon reinforcing plate set. So that's one here, and then these are on the sliding damper right here. There's 2 of them, 3 millimeter, basically cut, or no, not cut, but glued together. And they're glued together, so that's basically like 4.5 millimeters of carbon over here on the front for the sliding damper position. So that's 3 pieces. For the swing arm of the body damper, that's also an additional 2. So you guys could see over there a little bit. Yeah, those are 2 more pieces, so that is 5. Over here there's 3 of them, another 3, 6, 7, 8 pieces. They are the same thing again, cut, slotted, and then drilled, and then of course it's sliding. Let me see, on the, oh, there you go, there's the last 2 pieces, 9 and 10, the under support for the MS chassis, basically the parts that actually allows the battery to go like 1.5 millimeters a little bit lower. So if you could see the way my batteries are hitting, they're resting right on the 1.5 millimeter reinforcing plate. That allows the batteries to be a little bit lower. The center of gravity lowers a little bit, so that gives it slightly better balance, and that also makes it so that it bounces slightly less. And that's a lot of the things where, if you look over here on my battery catch, it's pushing the battery a little bit lower than it normally sits, and this is just on its normal position. You have to put some sort of brake pad to push the battery down so that it actually rests on the 1.5 millimeter plate. Just some of the things that you have to deal with. Another part is the HG Carbon 1319 roller plate. This is item number 15497. Let me see if I could find them. There you need about 2 packs of them. Let me see. There's two. There's 2 if I recall correctly. Okay. On the side dampers right here, you can see where it is. There's one on this side and then another one on this side right here. There's one that requires one set, and the other one is actually, where did the other one go? Oh, under here, right here. That's the piece that's supporting the rear rollers. Basically, that piece is a 1319 HG plate. So if I recall correctly, you actually need 2 pieces of this, basically 2 of this and then 1 separate for that one. So you do need 2 packs, because the way that it's cut, the position of the hole, you have to cut from the center and then drill a new hole for this, basically. Actually, no, maybe you only need 1. I don't recall correctly, but experiment and see for yourself how it was built, because I do not recall specifically. I had to build a lot of this on the fly. Let me see. Next is the HG AR wide plate from 2015. This might be a little bit hard to come by because it's from 2 years ago, but you need 2 of them. It's this piece right here. It keeps everything together, and then this brake set, this brake piece right here. That is also the same part, item number 95088. That's what you use for, that's what I use for my brakes over here, and for the center body damper support. Next is the car catcher for the dampers. Right here, this piece right here is a piece of the car catcher. I just had to cut around it to make it flush to my position. Cutting the car catcher, like just making a block piece like this, took me longer than I thought it would. It was kind of annoying, but it's actually fairly worth its weight in gold, because as you can see, it absorbs quite a bit of impact, and it still keeps shaking even after the car is going on. And when the car is running around and it's hitting a little bit of the bumps, small bumps, this takes up this actually shakes it out and actually absorbs the little bumps and minimizes a little bit more shaking from the car, and keeps it down, makes it a little bit more quicker. The next part is the item number 15415. That is the stabilizer, the rollers over here, stabilizer rollers for the front. Basically, you just cut out the edge, the rear catch for the tire, and then that's all you really need to worry about. And you could cut the one of the other support lengths of the wheel, basically this arch, this whole side, you can cut it out, and not much to worry about, and fairly easy to do. The next piece, oh okay, we're gonna go now to the underside. One of the reasons why this build is kind of annoying, because it's really expensive. There's a lot of carbon that you kind of need to cut out. The way I built mine is a little different from the way others would build theirs. Normally, what others would do is they would have that one support piece over here, right? And you're gonna have that. For me, what I chose to do is build it with 2 the HG carbon wide rear plates. It has a white print. You can see it a little bit right here. You can kind of identify it from that. Item number 15499. I made 2 of them, right? It's sandwiched. It's 3 millimeters. And what normally you're gonna see is that people are gonna use one piece. It doesn't matter which one they're gonna do. It could be they could use this piece right here, right? Or the same thing here, or actually another piece of this. It doesn't really matter. What they usually do is they use a 1.5 millimeter plate to support the bumper on the front and on the back. But I chose not to do that, because what I want to do is, if anything fails, instead of the carbon cracking, basically, usually that's what's going to happen. The carbon will crack. So to prevent that from happening, what I chose to do was use 3 millimeters instead. That keeps the carbon stronger. It's less likely to crack, right?
And if there's anything that's going to crack, it's going to be that piece of plastic instead over there on the chassis. That's going to be where the fault is going to be. Because as you can see, you know, after some runs, that plastic is going to wear out, and that's just part of the MS suspension. At least the way that I've built mine, the way it's, you know, that is just its, you know, nature. You know, like if you have, let's say, a Super 2 car, right? It's going to have some suspension, not suspension problems, but transmission problems on the propeller shaft. You know, that gear on the propeller shaft just tends to slide out on its own, and that's just one of the things where if you build MS suspension, that's just part of the course, you know, par for the course. That's one of the things that it's going to do. It's just going to fail here. That's just part of its problem, you know. And I know there are other designs on the MS suspension. I just don't have mine built the way other people do, and this is the way I prefer to do it because it's a lot easier to replace stuff. So I use two of those, 15499 over here at the front. Let's go back. And then over here on this side, this is a normal 3mm piece. It's just one homologated piece. Let me see let me look for that number. It's 95257. It's just one piece, fairly easy for the cut. If you use your mill, like the way that I do, you just cut around this bumper right here, because this piece is going to stay in place while the rest of it actuates. So let me show you. There you go. That's fairly easy. There you go. The same thing at the front. So as you guys can see, it absorbs impact quite well, and it's that's most of the determining factor on the way that my car has lasted quite a bit. Like I raced it over there a lot during testing. It was slightly getting weaker because, you know, the more you run it, the more weaknesses you're gonna get from this part of the bumper. And the next part what we're gonna cover is the, let me see, item number 15493. As you can see, all aluminum lock nuts pretty much everywhere except for under this hole right here. That's just a normal lock. That's just a normal normal nuts. Um, and that minimizes the weight. That lessens the weight of the build that you need to put on the car. And aluminum lock nuts just don't over tighten them, then you won't be breaking them at all. And next set is 15510. These are the countersunk screws. Yeah, if you can take a close look, those are the Tamiya countersunk screws. In the Japan Cup, they don't want anything protruding at all on anything. And as long as it's not in the way like this is underneath that 3mm piece, so they allow that. The cap screws are okay because they're in the center, and they're not touching anything. So all of the screws that you have to put in a place where it needs to be exposed to the track, especially the ones that are under the car, they need to be countersunk. They're gonna that makes it so that it's safer for them to run the race, and that's not going to damage their track. And there are a couple of things too that I needed to do while I was over there, like these little things right here, the rubber tubing that you could get from some of the carbon plates. I actually had some over here too, but I took them off because I had to adjust something after I'd left. These are they want you to cover screw heads, basically, as long as it's in danger of cutting or like harming whoever's gonna catch the car. They don't want you to do that. They want you to cover up as many of those points as possible. The same thing here, I had to do that for those as well. Mostly at the front, that's mostly what they're worried about, because that's where they're going to be catching the car for their marshals over there. Next is the AO620s, item number 94389. Yep, full set of AO620s again. You kind of have to. The next part is the hollow shafts. That's what they use in Japan. They basically they're eventually gonna bend for you. That's the problem when you're using hollows. But it's easier when you're trying to buy, let's say, like when I was over there, like honestly I didn't have enough parts And the easiest way for me to find straight shafts was to buy hollow propeller shafts, and it took me just a couple of packs to be able to go find straight shafts, and that made the rest of the build much more easy to handle, and it was a lot quicker to do. And the tires are this is a combination of 3 different parts. The carbon reinforced wheels, they come from, most of the other cars, or you could get them from specific parts. Like this is just an example of them. Item number 95254. 5 spokes, carbon reinforced. The tires are a combination of the super hard tires 94921. These are the black parts, are the super hard tires. And of course the maroon tires, the low friction maroon 95208. These are the 95208. And the last part that you need for this build is the sliding damper springs, basically. On the set that you get, you're gonna get 4 black ones. Those are the soft springs, and those are what I use on the inside. I don't know if you can see them. Here, let me focus a little bit. Yep. That's what I'm using inside, and I had to go cut them so that they're a little bit short, so that it's not too tight. There you go. You could see it a little bit better right there. And the same thing is true for the back. That is also the black spring on the back that's slightly cut so that it's slightly shorter. And the sliding damper springs, the stiff ones, the silver ones, are on the sliding dampers themselves, basically because of the weird straight that they had, where the walls had jump ramps mounted on them. You definitely need the springs. Without them, your car is gonna bounce out sideways off of the wall, which is just gonna be embarrassing. So you had to use sliding dampers on your car on that type of track. And just to show you guys what it sounds like, just real quick, it's the video is getting a little bit long. I don't know if you guys could hear it. Let me move the microphone a little bit closer. And that's how it sounds like when it's I worked on the transmission a little bit too. Here, so let me show you guys what it sounds like when it's actuating. That's what it sounds like. Alright. So let's cut to some racing footage.
3, 2, 1, go! Go! Masukkan ini cukup. Go!
している感じにも見えますが、4コースのね、1コースも2コースも同じ全体行ってますね、これ。さあ、誰がイタリアしていくのか、まず1台終了してみたいな。さあ、4